So recently, the news came out that this book, Bad Luck and Trouble, would be the basis for season 2 of the Reacher series on Amazon Prime. And I couldn't be more thrilled. Die Trying, the second book in the series, is a fine novel, but for my money, Bad Luck and Trouble is just a hell of a lot more fun. And with the introduction of Nagley in season 1, I think doing Bad Luck and Trouble for season 2 is perfect and a natural choice, given that she and the 110th MP are featured heavily in this book. Not only featured heavily, but the entire story is based around the reuniting of a good portion of the 110th. And even the members of the Special Investigation Unit who aren't there play a major role. I'm not even going to attempt to bury the lead here. Bad Luck and Trouble is a top 5 Jack Reacher story for me. It's fantastic. And it's shot straight up near the top the very first time that I read it. And I've since read it 2, maybe 3 more times, including this last time I read it. And every time, it's still just as good. So before I get into any spoilers at all, just know that I highly, highly recommend this story. Not only to prepare for season 2 of Reacher, but because it is, in my opinion, one of the best Jack Reacher stories that exist. All right, now getting into a little bit of what might be considered spoilers a little bit. So the story goes like this. Some members of Jack's old unit are going missing and possibly being killed. And one of them puts out a 1030 call, which is a code for help, for a officer needs assistance. So the story starts off with Francis Nagley contacting Jack Reacher through some pretty cool means. I love how she goes about contacting him. It's so convoluted, like no one else on Earth would get it, but this book dives a lot into Jack Reacher's, like, how his mind works and the things that he finds fun and entertaining. He's a numbers guy, and this comes into play a lot throughout the book series if you pay attention. And it's something that I feel like is missing a little bit from the more recent novels that have come out. It's just as going into these, like, the way that Jack's mind works and how he's obsessed with numbers and putting things together in prime numbers, and it's a lot of fun, and it, like, kind of makes Reacher who he is. It's a big part of who he is. All right, so she sends the officer needs assistance call in a very clever way, and ends up finally getting a hold of him and informing him that Tony Swan, another member of the 110th MP, has gone missing, and she's unable to reach several other members of the 110th MP. They all kind of, like, lost contact over the years, but generally know where each other are and, kind of what everyone's up to. But for some reason, Nagley is unable to reach any of them. Now, Nagley's gone on to be, like, this private investigator and started her own company with a partner, and so she has a lot of contacts and ways to find things out. So this comes in clutch throughout the story. So they're not able to reach any of the people at first, and it seems like it's just going to be Jack Reacher and Francis Nagley teaming up on the case, trying to find out what happened to Tony Swan and maybe what happened to the other people, And oh man, is it a fantastic adventure? Eventually, they're joined by a couple other members of the 110th MP. I don't want to give away too much in case you haven't read it, but it ends up being 4 of them trying to figure out what happened to the other members. And I won't, like I said, give away too much, just in case you've forgotten or haven't read this book yet. But I will say that this story revolves around villains who are diabolical as hell. The opening scene in the book is a man, I won't say who, with broken arms and legs, as if he'd been tortured intensely, being thrown out of a helicopter from 5,000 feet in the air over the desert. So, yeah. Eventually, what's left of the 110th, Jack Reacher, Francis Nagley, and co., start to figure things out. And once they realize what's happened, they are on a mission to hunt down the bastards responsible and get revenge. It is a fantastic detective story. Involves a lot of like code breaking and trying to figure out people's passwords and infiltrating establishments and military weapons systems and secret government contracts. It's so damn good. And without giving you the details of it, I will tell you that the 110th exact their revenge in glorious, glorious fashion. If you read the book, you know exactly why it's one of my favorites. And if you haven't, just know that it is an absolute must read if you are a fan of Jack Reacher. I absolutely cannot wait to see this novel brought to life on screen. I can't wait to see Reacher and Nagley again, and also some of these other members of the 110th MP, and how they're portrayed in the series, and who they cast to play these different members of the group. There are very few other books in the series that I would like to see adapted more than this one. This was like when people were saying what should they adapt next, this was at the top of my list. So yeah, I'm extremely excited to see what they do. And a little nervous, to be honest, because, with something this great, my worry is that they won't be able to do it justice. In fact, I'm kind of going in just knowing and expecting that the series will not be as good as the source material, as it rarely is. I mean, as good as season 1 was at adapting Killing Floor, it still doesn't hold a candle to the first Jack Reacher novel. Anyway, I'd love to hear what you guys think of Bad Luck and Trouble. Are you just excited as I am to see it on screen? Or would you rather have it be a different story adapted? But most importantly, where does this book rank for you among the other Jack Reacher novels? As I said earlier, for me, it's top 5 easily. And one of these days I'll actually get around to laying out like a top 10 list or something. I think that would be a lot of fun because, my top 5 are pretty firm, but after that, I'd really, have to think about it. Anyway, let me know what you think either in the comments below if you're listening or watching on YouTube, or if you're listening in podcast format, you can hit me up on Instagram or Twitter at RealBrettScott, and we can chat about it. I love talking Jack Reacher, so please do not hesitate to reach out. All right. If you enjoyed this review, please like the video, share it, all that good stuff, and if you aren't already subscribed, please do so. I cover a ton of Jack Reacher stuff on this channel. I review the books, I review the TV series episode by episode, I bring you news as soon as it comes out. But that's not all I do here on the channel. In addition to Jack Reacher stuff, I also love talking about all things entertainment and pop culture. TV, films, comics, all types of stuff. So if that interests you, yes, please subscribe for more. And if you do decide to stick around and either subscribe to the YouTube channel or favorite or follow the podcast, then I will talk to you again tomorrow. Thanks.